The 7.2 Showdown on Runuk hits this week, and it's looking good. We'll talk through what we've seen so far and all of our thoughts, that and more on this episode of the SWTOR Escape podcast from newoverlords.com. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 450. And with me is my co-host, Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great, and I agree with you. 7.2 has been fun so far, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail. No spoilers this week, though. But aside from playing through the story and playing with the map, and I haven't had a real good chance to explore the planet yet. Like, I haven't started the dailies, but I'm looking forward to that because I'm going to need something to get rep on because I'm bumping up against the top on my space mission rep, which has been my go-to whenever I needed rep for conquest. So that'll be like end of an era for me.
Although we're going to potentially want more Runuk rep sooner for like some of the cool decos and things like that. So
I noticed though that it is also a 5K per week cap.
is it?
Yeah.
Is it? Huh. I guess that's the new thing. I guess that's their new hotness. I don't know what I think of that. I guess I'll think hard on how much I don't like that. Or
Or we could have a rant where it hasn't been thought out yet, you know.
I guess that's fine. I mean, it stretches it out. It makes it more of a long-term
Right.
project,
Right.
which we could use longer-term projects, something to do. Well, then there you go. No, we'll be doing it for a while. We'll have
Yeah.
you can just like pause your
I mean,
Starfighter.
one way to look at it is it encourages you not to, go out and do it all at once, or
Right.
like large amounts of it at once. So you don't feel like I don't feel the pressure to go out there and farm it and get it done faster because you can't. Although whatever. I like having a few tokens, which
Yeah.
you won't get until after you get the 5,000 for the week.
Right. And then there's probably a lower cap on how much you can get per week then as well, I would bet.
That's what we're talking about.
Or maybe oh, no, well I'm thinking of like the game analysis modules, but no, there's no cap there. So as
No.
much rep as you could grab, you could probably bank in
Right.
one
Like
week.
what?
If you had enough characters, you could bank all of the rep and just not be able to
Right.
turn in
Right.
more than 5,000.
Yes, you could. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You could.
Yeah.
That's how it's worked before, so I'm assuming you could do it this way now too.
Yeah. Okay.
So story, and actually I spent some time today concentrating on my gear because that's a big feature of this update is new gear levels.
Yep. For sure.
You and I just got out of our weekly ops night, which was a fun night. We did story mode Dread Fortress because we had 7 people. Then we got another tank. Stask was able to join us. And so then we went and did hard mode EV, which was a really good decision to do because several people got ricotta pieces and I got some a blue thing that I needed so that I could start the hide and seek quest for the blue part of that quest.
Yeah.
Which we're also going to talk about.
Yep.
So that was a really fun, and it was fun besides. It was a fun night. This week on MFN, we also knocked out Sparks of War, which is a really good one to have behind you. I mean, you can solo that one, and I'm sure there's like groups on the fleet or on planets and stuff forming up for them occasionally, but it's really nice to get that one taken care of early in the week. And that was a fun night also.
Now,
And as you can see, I'm dressed up more Mandalorian-ish because I got, this sort of kind of a Thelma and Louise type adventure when me and Shay were out there fighting the good fight together.
yes, I
And
completely agree. I'll definitely talk about that too, which that
um,
felt really good.
I even Googled the voice actor for the female bounty hunter because I was thinking they sounded pretty similar, but it's two different voice actors. And once you really listen, they don't sound that similar. But yeah, it was just sort of like, yeah, girls' night out. of butchery.
That's well, that's a usual Saturday night for SEMA.
And then I got my Torian companion out, and I raised his um, influence to 50, and I'm gonna have him with me for a while, because I normally have Shay, and I feel like, she's like a character now, not like my servant, you know.
Right.
And she's off. Well, I won't say where she is now. But yes, so yeah, it's a good week. New stuff happening, good stuff, and so yeah. How has your week been so far, Max?
Similar. We won't go into spoilers on tonight's show. We will in the future week, maybe next week, maybe the week after. Maybe no show next week. We'll see. Maybe that'll be our break week before we do our end of year wrap up, and then we're gonna do our prediction show, and then maybe we'll do
Yeah.
spoiler story stuff. However, I did the whole story and I liked it. I liked it. So without spoiling anything, I will say there's some great, great cinematic work, and that's Ashley. And if you haven't seen our interview with Ashley, she talks about a lot of her experience and her industry experience doing that kind of thing. And I even put into that interview some of the B-roll of other cinematics work she's done in other games. You can see her at least her direction and working with a team as her fingerprints on it. And I'm not usually a big cutscene kind of kind of person in games. A game like Final Fantasy, I skip every single cutscene and then watch them on double speed on YouTube because I literally do. Final Fantasy separate. Their cutscenes bother me in other ways. It's fine. It's fine story. But a lot of them, my fingers start tapping. This was compelling. This was interesting and compelling.
I do like cutscenes, and yeah, I do like cutscenes, but there's a fine line, right? Like there's a line where you start to get antsy. But then there's a line the other way, which is way more what I complain about, is when there's just too much sort of tedious killing in between cutscenes in a story piece. And I really liked the sort of combination in this one, with one complaint, but I'll save that for another night too.
Yeah, same thing. I have a couple bits and pieces as well. But
Well, mine's just a mechanical thing, but yeah.
But yeah, it felt really good being part of the Shay part of the story. I agree, because I did it on my mercenary so far. I'll also do it on a couple other characters, and we'll see sort of how it feels there. But it felt really natural on my merc in this gear set. So I'm like going full Mandalorian around all the Mandalorians in this fight with the helmet on. And Shay is my main companion all other time. So
yeah,
it felt really natural with her in there as part of the story. It felt really, it felt really good. Again, we got to stay away from that because of the stories. I dipped into PvP. I checked out the dailies, but haven't done a lot of them yet. But I did dangle my feet into the PvP pool. I've got comments on that when we get to that part. It was fine. I think it'll be just fine, but I think it's a little less optimized just now for a couple various reasons. Had fun in our ops night tonight. Had fun throwing snowballs, the life day stuff. It's fun having that stuff back as well. And then focusing on gear. So when we get to the gear part, I did not get lucky and get any upgrade pieces. No 332 pieces. No 334 Rakata pieces that some other people were getting. I got none of that, but I already had a Kalomi 330 and a Rakata 330 ready to go. Oh, and a Supreme Decurion 330. I have, and then enough tokens, I believe, tonight, maybe live during the podcast, I will show you the upgrades for taking a 330 Supreme Decurion, which is Master Mode Flashpoint gear, and a 330 Rakata piece, and show you how you then get full 336 on your character besides the earpiece and relics. Other than that, yeah, that's about it. Let's jump right into this fun news, because we've got a ton of news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
Why don't you lead it off, Seema? Because I don't know if we made it a big enough deal about it last week, but
I
but
got
yeah,
one right.
one, you get everyone right.
Well, my method for this time was I just predicted the date that I wanted it to be, which was this week. And we're talking about the date that 7.2 started, which was Tuesday this week, the 13th.
Yeah,
So, yay on that.
right. And it's a good idea that it came out this week instead of next week because they're fixing a couple things. That's mostly we're going to talk about in the news. We'll talk about the 7.2 update in the second half, but in the news, we'll talk about some of the known issues.
I'm
The-
glad it came early because I don't know about you or anyone else, but I get this like MMO stress or something when I feel like I don't have time to do everything sufficiently. And if it was really butting up against the holidays when your schedule just goes wild in real life. I'm just glad that I have that feeling of, yeah, I can explore this, I can enjoy the story, I don't have to rush through because I only have half an hour or whatever. So I
yeah,
appreciate it coming earlier.
yeah. I don't have to tell my family to go away because I have games to play. Um, and they're less upset at me, and I've come to realize that that's a good thing.
So
Yeah.
we did get the new update. There were some bugs though. Notably, there's a problem again in Ruins of Null. And the problem is that some players are unable to advance, and they get a message saying that they don't have room, basically saying they don't have room in their quest log, but that doesn't match with reality. So
Yeah.
they're looking into that.
Boy, this poor Ruins of Null. And I know that's been a point of frustration. In fact, when we talked to Chris Schmidt, he brought this up. It was like, yeah, that did not make us very happy that we continue to have problems. And it wasn't this problem ever before.
No,
But
it's
this is like a new
It's a new.
one in that
Yeah.
stupid. I'm sure they're just like pulling their hair out. It's like stupid Ruins of Null. They just want to delete the whole thing at this point, I'm sure. Um, yeah, so that's one of them. What else we got?
I guess there's a couple of weapons on. Like I haven't even really looked carefully at the Life Day vendor yet. Another thing that I would like to spend some time on, um, maybe during coffee and contemplation one day.
Hmm.
But a couple of the weapons that the vendor has cannot be purchased right now. So that's like a bug. They're like I guess you try to purchase it and you cannot. But
Yes,
that should be fixed.
the lightsaber and the dual saber in particular, unfortunately. Which I don't know. Those are always the least interesting of the cosmetics for me for whatever reason. I'm not a lightsaber wielding class typically, but I do have characters that do. Unless there's a blade effect, the hilt you barely see, so I'm not usually all that
Yes,
interested
that's
anyway.
true. Although it is a big deal.
Yeah, I mean we got it, and they said they'll fix it, so
Yeah.
we'll get them. We'll get them, and then more in my wheelhouse, there are some PvP issues that specifically came up this week, and this is why it was good that they've got time both this week and potentially into next week to fix some of these things. Remember, they added the new PvP reward track. So in the same way you've got a Galactic Seasons reward track, if you're not familiar, there's now a PvP reward track, and it was kind of broken this week. So people were like making progress, and then the progress was getting reset, and things were breaking down. In fact, my progress got reset. I'm looking at it right now, so I'm in that same situation that Machete was in, where he was saying earlier. So if somebody say hypothetically didn't get completely screwed over by getting their progress reset, what level would you be at right now? Because they PvP on Wednesday nights, so we've got a small group that does that here in AIE. So I got a big bag of nothing. But I think I only did 2 matches at most, and it was fine. As I said, we'll get to that. The
If that
other,
happened to me, I would find that very demoralizing. So I I feel for you guys.
yeah, especially because they had like a PvP night. For me, I don't care. It was just one thing. Uh, Chat room was saying they wish GSF was part of the reward track. I would like that as well. I think GSF is something they could go back and focus on. That would be nice because there's a GSF community, and GSF find even more fun than PvP. PvP is a fine part of the game. I kind of like GSF a little bit better, and I would like more added to it. I think there's a bunch they could do with GSF to make it really fun. There was one GSF bug that came up more due to the way the new maps work, because you do potentially from time to time want to look at your map for, especially when you're in the domination, which is the satellite control map in GSF. And if you hit M to bring up your map, it doesn't work correctly because they have the new map system. So if you do Alt M to bring up the old style map, that will work. So that's your workaround for now. And then they said, in fact, Eric, I believe, chimed in on a thread and said, maybe what we'll do is we'll add a separate keybind just for the GSF map, so you can have its own keybind in the future. But that's not in there now. And then the final thing, which is interesting, it was sort of buried in, I don't even know if it was in the patch notes, but something that they hadn't pre-announced is they changed the penalties for leaving PvP matches early. It used to be shorter. It's now 20 minutes for the first time you leave early, an hour if you leave early twice, and 6 hours if you leave early 3 times or more. 6-hour lockout. I wasn't clear if that's per day. I think it's per day. The problem, there's a whole thread, so go ahead and read into it. A lot of people are saying that this is a terrible idea because on one side, people are saying, well, because I like to leave, when I don't like the map I got. Okay, I think that's a bad reason, and it's fine to have the lockouts, and that's what they're trying to reduce, is people leaving. Some people were saying, which I think is another bad argument, is, hey, you making these lockouts longer, that's toxic. And that's not true. It's the opposite. What they're trying to do is you being a poor sport and leaving a team because you don't like the scrubs that you're with or the map that you're on, or your team lost the first goal in Hutball and you go, these guys are a bunch of losers, and you leave. You're the one being toxic. That's what those lockouts are there for. The fact that people are getting locked out for bad reasons, that's the downside. So
yeah, that's the part that has to be fixed.
Well, so Starry Saber brings it up. That's the biggest thing is, what if I got DC'd? Okay. Granted, that's a tough situation. You shouldn't be getting DC'd, and I mean, it does seem a little bit long. And if you get DC'd, that's bad. There's not like a way to detect whether you got DC'd or whether you pulled your network cable because you were raging. So that's tough for them to decide between that. The game doesn't DC people from the server perspective very much at all. From the player's perspective, it might. But, I mean, if you're in that situation, this used to happen to me. How many years, for the last couple of years, I've been complaining because I would get DC'd, and I would get DC'd in the middle of a match potentially, and either I would get DC'd like in the last 5 minutes and lose my progress on something that was a Galactic Season objective or something, and I would get really mad, but I was mad at myself because my connection was DCing. So that's a tough one because it does hurt your team, even if you're DC'd through no fault of your own. So having a 20-minute lockdown so you can go reset your router and make sure everything's stable before you jump into the next match, I don't know, maybe that's not too bad of a thing. Not great, and these do seem long. The 1 hour and the 6 hours to me in particular seem long. If it was like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, maybe that would be a little bit more reasonable. But yeah, so big long thread, plenty of people saying, dumbest thing ever. I guess you just want everybody to quit. No, that's not really part of it either. You should have no penalties for leaving a match because this is now super casual. That's not really where this is at either. So there's a relatively broad range of opinions in that discussion going on the forums. So we'll leave that for now, and we'll see where that goes. And they said they will potentially be tuning it. So there we go. And finally, what's our last fun thing starting next week, Seema?
Oh, so yeah. Well, fun for a short time. Double XP coming from the 20th to the 27th of December.
Yes,
So
but
be
short,
there or be
yeah.
square.
It's 1 week, which as of last week, they said it would be coming, but we didn't specify an end date yet. Now they specified an end date.
I don't know how I'm going to spend that time because I have a bunch of characters that I created for Total Galactic War that I was on the verge of saying maybe I should delete them, but now I'm on the verge of saying, well, maybe I should just finish leveling them.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do either. I'm probably gonna ignore double XP. That tends to be what I do with that. I'm much more focused on PvP season now, Galactic Seasons
Yeah.
season, and getting if I'm good was gonna do anything where I was gonna be going back and dealing with alts. Most of them are to 80. It's more I need to push them through the story to bring
I
them
mean,
up to Runuk.
speaking of PvP season and Galactic seasons, and you guys were saying earlier that you would like um, Galactic Starfighter to be included, would you rather see it have its own season or be rolled into the PvP season?
Hmm.
Because, like,
Well,
how many seasons is too many seasons?
well, too many seasons is too many seasons. You do have a point there. However, if I had my druthers, I would potentially want it to be its own season with its own specific
Yeah,
rewards
I
specific
could totally see
to
that.
GSF.
Yeah.
There are fun parts of GSF like paint jobs for your ships, which they haven't done anything with in years. Like here, they had these little red stripes on my little starfighter here. That's a special paint job. Uh, the purple exhausts coming out of my bomber, that's a special little cosmetic that I have. They've added none of those to the game in such a long time. They could make new ones of those and make those part of the rewards tracks and do a whole bunch of stuff. That would be great.
Maybe they could make a season that was like Galactic Starfighter and space missions.
Maybe. Space missions are so different though
Yeah, they are
that
completely different. And
yeah.
like the people who enjoy the space missions are
I
probably
yeah,
there's not a huge overlap between those two groups of people, the GSF people and the space mission
yeah,
people
it's a very different it
activity.
yeah, from a gameplay perspective, it's look at
Yeah.
even the lasers. I've got
And
like
it
cool
hits a
black
different part of your
lasers.
brain too.
My cosmetics on this little bomber are sweet. This is a good bomber too. Anyways, community news. Our community has news. We will continue to do fun things for whoever's available. So the next 2 weeks, especially because we've got the holidays, it may be relatively quiet, but each Tuesday, whoever's around, this Tuesday, we went in and did some random things. We threw a bunch of snowballs, we hugged a bunch of Wookiees while
I,
everybody
I'm
was sort of getting together, and it was
I'm
fun.
always amazed at how much fun it is to throw the snowballs because it sounds like
Yeah.
such a non-activity.
Well, it's really social. So we get in
And some
there.
people were also hugging Wookiees. I didn't hug any Wookiees, but maybe next Tuesday I will.
I did, and then I looked at the achievement, and I remembered last year that they added the 1,500 Wookiees. They didn't add any new one this year, but I also remember that they reset the starting point to 0, and I only did like 50 last year. So then I was like, I'm gonna hug a bunch of Wookiees, and then I looked and saw that now I'm at 52, and I said, yeah, I'm done with that. I'm, I'm done hugging Wookiees. But we'll see. Maybe I'll hug some Wookiees. I figure if I hug 10 a year, I will get there before the servers end and the heat death of the universe.
The heat of right. Okay, that'll be my goal then. 10 Wookiees on Tuesday.
But
Wookiee Tuesday.
AIE-guild.org Discord link is in the upper right. That's Tuesdays. We get together. We have fun. What we also did this week was the Galactic Season objective. We have to go kill droids and turrets, enemy champion level droids and turrets that are guarding outposts, and that you need to do with a group. For the most part, there are a couple places. I did find one on Quesh. We went to the Imperial base on our Republic characters, which is way on the south of the map on Quesh. Halfway down on my way there, I did see, because there was one person doing it, I did see a single turret that you could go and kill off of one of those little outposts that you could go kill without aggroing anything else. It would be a long time to kill it, wait for it to respawn, and kill it again 25 times, but you could do it. That's a place where you could get it
Perfect
done.
opportunity for Netflix and kill.
Yeah. So you could solo that if you really needed to. Otherwise, grab some friends and just go, just go run into a base. Everything respawns quickly enough that if you had tank a healer and some DPS, you could
Do your
murderize the enemy.
annual watching of Die Hard.
Yes. It's a Christmas movie, Die Hard. Yippee-ki-yay, Monday, Friday.
Monkey
Whatever.
Fighter.
Monkey Fighter? Yeah. That's who put all these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane? Anyway, that is what we do with our guild. Would love to have you come and join as well. Thank you, chat room. We started a little bit late again today. We go live and chat with the chat room both before and after the show when we do this live on Thursday nights. If you want to get in there and continue to distract us, so we start late with our recording sessions every Thursday night, you can do that around 10:30 p.m. Central on twitch.tv/newoverlords. But thanks. We were also playing with audio levels. Corley is always up in my business about them audio levels. I pumped it up a little bit, so hopefully that helps a little bit, and maybe I can go further so that Corley, as my audio engineer, is finally satisfied. So, with that, I think, Seema, the game has changed.
Game changer.
Game changer.
Game changer?
Game changer for...
Game changer for the industry.
So, we have an expansion. We have Showdown on Runuk 7.2. It did get here, and we're going to go through just our high-level impressions. No spoilers on the story stuff, but I did play through the story. That was actually the first thing I did, which I thought was interesting, and that's one thing I wanted to mention. And then I wanted to get from you, Seema, as well, just our general impressions of the entire package on the table. And then we'll go through some of the other things, and we'll even look at some of it in game. Maybe we'll look at the Life Day vendor. Maybe I'll do that gear upgrade thing that I was talking about. We'll see how much time we have. Go at it. Overall impressions, 7.2.
Very positive for me. I like the UI changes. I like the map. I like the little bar in the bottom right as opposed to the icons that were attached to the mini map. And I like that it's configurable. I really enjoyed the story. And like you've mentioned before, the look of it is pretty spectacular, and the sort of choreography of it. Not saying, not giving anything away. It's just really fun. Just a lot of fun.
Yep. I think this is one of the better expansions. It's not huge. It's not a Shadow of Revan. It's not, it's not like an old school, giant, once every 2 years buy it in a box kind of expansion. But I'm glad we got it as a 7.2, as a dot expansion. Really good. I like, as we've sort of gushed over in previous shows when we saw this stuff on the PTS, I really like what I'm seeing now in all of the graphical upgrades on every new character that's added to the game, every new area, the zones. All of Rinnik is looking amazing. I'm sorry, Ranok.
I thought like Hedda Cole was fantastic, and just the little expression changes on her face were just really entertaining.
Now, apparently they changed the voice actor, and I looked up the new voice actor. We traded some notes on that earlier. I think she did a great job. Again, we won't talk about that too much, but they developed her character a little bit more. We got to hear a lot more of the voice that's used this time, and it really, really good. I like that there's gear. I like the gear upgrade. I like that there's a reason to go and get gear. I think there's a couple flaws in it when we get to that point, just minor, that I would like to work out. But I'm glad that it's here. I'm glad that it's something to do. I'm glad that we've got a whole new planet I'm glad that we've got dailies on that planet. I like having a new rep to go after. I like that. I like the... We'll see on the PvP changes. I played a little bit of PvP. It was quite sweaty. It was a lot of... But it wasn't too much different than it was before. I know some people have run into some 8-person pre-mades that were kind of riding roughshod over the pickup group on the opposite side, and that doesn't always feel too good. But once in a while, when you see a really good team do that and you lose to them, you can still be pretty impressed, and you can sort of see what it looks like, which you may not have before. And 8v8 teams in Hutball is one of my favorite things ever. So I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit more of that, and maybe I would even love to see it recorded. If somebody can get two high-end 8v8 pre-made teams going at it in Hutball, I would love to get a video of that recorded and up on YouTube. That's some of the coolest. It's one of the coolest modes of PvP in any MMO. I think it's really unique. It's a Star Wars-y kind of thing. It's Hutball. I like it. Yep. Runuk having new things to do, having a new world boss to go after, having a Datacron, having some hidden achievements. So Cal, who's from Today in Tor, who we've had on the podcast a few weeks ago, he put up a guide today on the secret achievements for Runuk. I love that stuff is there.
And they look pretty interesting to do, too. I was reading through that.
Yeah.
Not the kind of thing you can just pick up on the way by something, you know?
Right. So look up Today in Tor, the blog, and he's got it up there. That's pretty cool. Life Day, a couple other things. I like that Life Day's here. So yeah, my overall impression is I'm happy. I'm happy that it got here when it did. I'm happy that we got a full expansion for a 7.2. And I'm happy. Do I want more? Sure. More everything.
I mean, we are players after all.
Yes.
We want more.
But there's room for more. This isn't the end of anything by any means. So there is room for more, and hopefully they've got it coming. Can't wait. But I think there's a significant amount to chew on here through the holidays and into early next year, which is cool. So let's break it down. As we said, we'll skip the story besides saying it was one of the most cinematically produced expansions. It took me 90 minutes to go through the story, so it wasn't like a 15-minute, 20-minute thing. I did look around a little bit extra. I did do the bonuses on the walkthrough of the story. So that was just 90 minutes, and that does not include any part of there's even a little bit of story once you're done. Once you get to the things that are going on Runuk as part of the dailies. I'm not counting any of that. In fact, I just scratched the surface on that. I just started it and I didn't do any of the dailies. So Galahad, that's the story. 90 minutes is the story. But you're saying that is the expansion? No, the expansion is also the gear and the PvP and the dailies and a whole new planet to explore and the achievements and the world boss and the Datacron. So you could say only 90 minutes, boy, what a waste. It's a story beat, right? So, and play it. It feels good. It feels meaty. I don't need 12 hours of story at this point, especially on a 7.2 release. So I thought it didn't feel like a 5-minute thing. It felt significant, and it was longer than I expected. So I guess, sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you there, Galahad. It looked like you were saying only 90 minutes. That's terrible.
No, it wasn't.
Which now I realize that is not what you were saying. No, it's meaty. It's a meaty story, and as I said, one of the best directed. Okay, we got to stop. Let's leave that behind. Next thing.
Story later.
Yeah, because I'll start giving it away by just telling you what parts I thought were really done. Gear. I like that there's gear. So let's talk about the gear. It's just that it goes up to 336 now, but almost everything now goes to 336. That only stopped at either 328 or 330 before, or 326. So Taiwanese, Kolomi. So all of the flashpoint gear, all of the operations gear, the old operations gear, Taiwanese, Kolomi, and Rakata, all of that stuff goes up to 336 now. So what you do is you get the gear piece. So if we look at my inventory here, I will show you what it looks like. I have here, for example, a Kolomi Bolt Blasters Van Braces rating 330. I would take that to the fleet, and then there's a vendor in the supplies area of the fleet where I would take this and I would trade this in with some currencies, which are the FP catalysts or the op catalyst currencies and a few of the other currencies, and I could get it to 332, 334, then up to 334, then up to 336. Same thing on the Rakata. Having a purple piece of 336 and a blue piece of 336, that's what you want to get to, as long as you have one blue piece in particular, and then maybe optionally also a purple piece. One blue piece of 336 gear will get you then all of the mods and enhancements and armorings unlocked on Zeke and Hyde. So Zeke and Hyde are the two vendors on the fleet that give you that mission that says, hey, do you want to buy mods? Do you want to just buy these components to stick in your gear? My answer to that, from my perspective, is yes, I do want to buy mods, because once you unlock that once, then you can get, which if you look at my gear here, all of my gear pieces are full of 330 right now, which I got from them, and every single one of my alts. You only need to unlock it once. Every single one of my alts is in full 330 right now, and every single one that I wanted to. So the problem with this is it's a little complicated to try to figure out what path you might want to take to either to get a 336 blue piece.
I find it's complicated if you read a guide about it or listen to people talk about it. It's so many words. But if you just go and look at the vendors and walk back and forth and see what you can buy and all the various vendors, and then talk to Hide and Zeke and see what they're going to do for you, it's a lot clearer.
Yes. You can get gear to full 336 purple with story mode ops now. No, I don't. 336 isn't purple for Taiwanese or Kolomi. It's still blue, Forrester, isn't it? I believe so. So Rakata, you would need 336 Rakata to get it. You can now buy, okay, so here's where it starts to get complicated. You can now, just with the op currency, so yes, you are correct, Forrester. So Forrester says you could, if you just focus on the currency and what you can now buy. They also added a vendor. Oh, here's the map. We're going to get to this in a second. But they added the vendor in the supplies section. So just with nothing, with never even setting your foot in an operation. Well, I guess you got to set your foot in an operation because you got to get the currency. Although there are a couple other ways to get some of that currency. But if you've got the operations currency, which is the OP-1 catalyst, you can go over here to a vendor and say you've never gotten a Rakata piece out of an actual operation, but you've got that currency. You could go over here to Sid Reed Here Hall on the Imperial Fleet, and here, oh look, here's all these Rakata pieces. They start at 324, which is pretty low, but there's full sets of Rakata pieces, Rakata implants, Rakata relics, a whole bunch of Rakata pieces. They might not be the exact stats that you want, so that is what a couple people are talking about in the chat room, but you could buy the 324 Rakata pieces off of this vendor, and then slowly over time, because you will need very many OP1 catalyst currencies along with other things to upgrade them, but you could then upgrade them on this Operation Gear upgrade vendor, which is standing right next to it, and say the 330 gloves that I've got in my inventory, for example, I can spend 60 conquest accommodations plus 70 OPU-1 catalysts plus 40 daily resource matrix plus 78,000 credits and upgrade it to 332. And I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to say, yes, I would like to upgrade these Bolt Blaster gloves. Let me double check that. Always double check. Measure twice, cut once. Ricotta bolt. No, I was going to do it with the earpiece, which I think might even be cheaper. Yeah, it's 60 OP1s instead of 70. So I'm going to do it with this earpiece. And but I might even want that. See, here's where it gets complicated.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably want to keep the earpiece because you can't get a 336 earpiece or relics off of hide and Zeke. And the legendary implants aren't upgraded. So I'm going to do it off of these Bolt Blaster gloves because I want the 336 Bolt Blaster gloves to turn in to hide and Zeke to unlock the 336 purple enhancements. So yes, I want 332. Now I've got 334 as an option. Yes, I want to upgrade to 334. Now I've got 336 as an option. Yes, I want to upgrade to 336. And bang, I've got 336 Ricotta Bolt Blaster gloves in my inventory now. So Starry Saber's saying this is way too complicated. It's only complicated if you explain all of the possible options. It's not complicated really at all if you just play what you like to play and then go to an upgrade vendor and upgrade stuff. If you only do flashpoints, you'll end up in all 336. If you only do operations, you'll end up in all 336. If you only do PvP, you'll end up in all the top-end PvP gear. If you just do it, just play what you play, go to the vendor once in a while, upgrade your pieces. It's only sounds complicated when we're talking about like, well,
Every option.
Here's the optimal way to upgrade your alt. Now, maybe I want this earpiece and blah, 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 blah. Or you look at SWTORista's chart, where she's got all the different lines, and here's all the different paths that all go to 336 and this way. It's only complicated if you explain all the possible ways or the optimal ways to do it with, 10 less current bits of currency than the other way. If not, just play what you play and you'll upgrade gear for one. For two, you don't need above 324. You don't need 336 gear unless you're doing the hardest content in the game. Nobody needs 336 gear. So that's the other way to keep it simple. If it sounds too complicated and you're not doing master mode flashpoints and you're not doing vet mode or master mode operations, you don't need it. So who cares? So ignore it then. If it's complicated.
And this is a entertaining game for some people.
Yes.
And so
this mini game of
this sort of
well, how can I save 5 5 FP1, blah blah blah. How can I, I've got 582 FP1 stabilizers. Is it worth it for me to turn those in versus OP1 catalysts? That's kind of fun for some people. Some people have a spreadsheet with 30 different tabs and different optimization
Who could that
models.
be?
So some people get a kick out of that, and that's kind of the point of having these paths. So here, now I'm at the Flashpoint vendor, and I have an option to take my Supreme Decurion Bolt Blaster's belt. These are expensive to upgrade with the Flashpoint gear. Do I have enough to get it to even up to 336? 170 to get it to 332. So 340 to get it to 334. And then 5. Yeah, I'll spend all of my FP1
But Corley
stabilizers.
says that you can buy the FP1 with conquest commendations
You
now.
can buy FP1 stabilizers?
Yeah, he said he saw it in the podcast chat. Well, I missed that, but yeah, so
You can buy FP1 stabilizers. Someone
I wonder
said that in
who
the
what
podcast
vendor
chat.
that would be.
Process isotope stabilizer. You convert conquest comms to FP1 stabilizers. Where would you do that? Not on that vendor. Who sells FP1 stabilizers? No items are available.
This looks
Not
like
there.
it's the other way around, that you would buy 200 tech fragments for 200 FP1 stabilizers.
Bag of tech fragments, 4 FP1. You could see, yeah, you can convert FP1 stabilizers to tech frags. I don't see a
Oh
way to
yeah.
convert conquest commendations to FP1 stabilizers. So
But I want there to be a way, so I'm going to continue looking.
okay, well that's there is. Here it is. It's on the conquest vendor. A bag of 200 FP1 stabilizers costs 500 conquest commendations. Well, wow. You just
Game changer.
Game changer.
Game changer.
game changer. Yes. Well, then the FP1 stabilizers are basically free because I am always capped on conquest commendations.
Right,
So,
right.
so here, all right, let's finish this off real quick because we're sort of spending a lot of time on this.
Right.
My other piece here is going to take these. That's the Columbia. I want to take this FP1, save some of my op gear because I'll use that to upgrade my relics and my implant. I'll take this belt and I'll upgrade this belt to 336 blue, and the 336 blue unlocks. Remember the mods and the armorings off of. There's 334. Do I have enough? I certainly do. I don't even have to convert any. Now I have a 336 blue. I started with 330 on both of these right now. I had nothing above 330. Now I have a 336 blue Supreme Decurion Bolt Blasters belt. So that's Master Mode Flashpoint gear that I just upgraded with FP1 stabilizers. And I have my 336 Ricotta Bolt Blasters gloves that I upgraded with OP1 catalysts. Now I'm going to take both of these over to Hide and Zeke. And I'll show you what that looks like. That's not Hide and Zeke. Oh, there's Kai Zeiken. I'm good friends with Kai. I don't know if you guys know that. He's my bud. So here's Hyde and or Zeke. And we are talking, but I can't see. Oh, it's you. Ready to do business? Yes. Different. Let's get to business. Come on, give me the quests. I want you to make some modifications for me. Okay. I want the 336 prototype modifications quest. You need to pick up the quest, then you deconstruct the piece that he asks you to after you've picked up the quest. So number 5 here, 336 prototype is the blue. Yes, great. Thank you. And he says, great. That sounds good. Remember to say okay. Now I have the instructions to deconstruct the specified item, 336 prototype. So I go into my inventory, into the brand new deconstruct window, which has the destroy window also. And I deconstruct my 336 Supreme Decurion Blue Bolt Blasters belt right there. Deconstruct. Yes. Thank you. I already used that delete part of that window today. And
Oh, did you?
Great.
Cool.
And now my quest has been updated. It says return to Hyde. I will return to Hyde. And he will say, great job. You are complete. And now if I look on Zeke, I can see I have 336 mods, enhancements, armorings, barrels. All these 103s are all 336. Now, the purple just gets the enhancements up to a purple version of the enhancements, but you already get blue 336 out of doing this. So you can get to full 336 by just that one piece. If you do the extra purple, like this Ricotta one that I also upgraded, then the enhancements will move up slightly better, a couple more points better. Again, so something you barely need even if you're good and you're doing vet mode R4, but a little tweak above that you might want to do. So I'm going to say, yes, Hyde, please do it. Yes, I want you to make some modifications for me. 336 artifact modifications. Yes. Deconstruct the specified item. 336 artifact. I go and deconstruct these 336 gloves. Deconstruct. Bang. And now, you know who my uncle is? Bob. Bob's my uncle. And now when I look on the vendor, in addition to the 103 blue enhancements, I get a set of 336 purple enhancements as well, which are these 99s. Cool, cool, cool. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. So now I can put full 336 armoring mods, enhancements, barrels, hilts into all of my gear on all of my characters off of what I just did there. And I just showed you. So there you go. Yeah, sorry. Machete is making it clear. If you click all on the vendor, like I didn't have hilts showing up originally. If you click all on the vendor, you will see all of them. And when you buy each of these mods, they are bound to legacy. So you don't even have to take like a legacy bound armor set and send it over to this character. This character could just buy 14 sets for all of your armor pieces and your weapons. Just buy them all, put them in legacy storage. They're cheap. They're 100K credits, but that's like nothing these days. You could just like buy stacks of these, more than you need. Just dump them all in legacy, and any alt that ever needs them, fill up a page, and you've got them. So there you go. All right, we've spent enough time, I think, on gear, haven't we, Seema?
Yes.
Should I read my stats? Last thing.
Please don't.
Stat talk. eFlux reminds us that you probably have to wait 2 hours before you can put them in the legacy bank. There's that sell back to the vendor for a refund cooldown on that kind of thing. But still, it's a way to do it. If you put them in a legacy gear set, if you actually slot them into a legacy gear set, then you can get around that 2 hours. What else have you been doing, Seema? So you did story as well. I think you, the same as me, you didn't actually do any of the world quests or the dailies yet, right?
No.
Did you meet anyone on the planet yet after you?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
Is that a spoiler? Well, no, we saw her in the trailer. So Lane Vizsla.
Yeah, Lane Vizsla.
So I said hi to Lane, and met her so far.
Yes, I was going to say there's nothing I have to say about Lane that isn't a spoiler.
Right. And yeah. So there's a little bit of kind of like story narrative that's associated with the dailies that you'll do with Lane alongside. You could just do all the dailies, and there's 3 weeklies. So there's daily regulars, daily heroics, and then 3 weeklies. The 3 weeklies are weekly regular daily quests, a weekly for the heroic dailies, and a weekly for the world boss. So you unlock all of those as soon as you get out of the story, but then you also have Lane who you can go talk to, because there is a little bit extra. There's a little bit extra that then gives you, and this was already described in the preview as well, will give you the ability to unlock the extra actions so that it makes the daily quests easier in the future. Same way we kind of did on Manon, and those are available on Manon for you to sort of swap out on your extra action bar. That's cool. I like that they're kind of adding that in. It's a little bit extra of story alongside, and then maybe some fun new extra ways or different ways to go after doing those daily quests so you don't feel like you need to bring a stealth character. So like for Manon, I don't know if we get one here. I'm going to find that out probably this weekend. But at Manon, we got the stealth ability. I turned all my characters into stealthers if I wanted to. That was kind of nice. That I didn't feel like I had to bring a stealth or spec into a second style as stealth on my characters. All of Seema's second styles are stealth though, right? So you don't have to worry about it.
No, not all of them. Not all of them.
We know what Seema does in the shadows.
Yes, we do.
Datacron, I've been seeing people get together in the various like open general chat on the fleet or on Rinnick to talk about the Datacron. Hey, let's all go and get it kind of thing. That's cool that people are getting together to do it. I haven't seen world boss groups forming up yet, but I haven't
yet
too
either.
Tough. I think is pretty reasonable. The last world boss that we had added was Mek Shah, right? The Dread Pirate,
Yep.
and he was hard. I don't think the new world boss, after they've delved too deeply and too greedily, they know it. They awoke. So the Balrog, that's actually a lizard in this case. Oh, look at the carbonite decorations on the pillars here. On the Imperial fleet, carbonites hung up. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't done the
they-
world boss yet, but I want to. So that's cool. PvP. Tell me about all the PvP you've done, Seema.
I can do that fairly concisely. Yeah, I haven't done any PvP.
So I just did a couple. I liked the fact that I could choose between the arenas and war zones. So that's 4v4 versus 8v8. I liked that. I liked that that the final score screen changes the priority of what you're looking at just a little bit, which I thought was interesting. It's not what wasn't what I was used to, because up front it doesn't like show you stacked against all of the other players. The point is not necessarily to stack yourself against all of the other players. And it was always a point of a little bit of friction of my own, a little bit of chafing every time I would look at that screen. If I was top DPS, then I would be like, well, yeah, I'm top DPS. But if I wasn't top DPS, then I'd say like, well, look at my objective points. Maybe that's more important this time. I'd get a little bit of one. Or if I was not top DPS or top objectives, I would say, well, I did 900,000 healing. Did you do that? Just in my head, and it's not the point. So, changing the focus of that is a gameplay design to sort of reset your perspective. You can still look at a screen, although it didn't show deaths. That's what I was surprised of as well. I couldn't find how many times I or other people had died. In a GSF match, I wish that would be the number one thing that would show up in a deathmatch match. I wish that would be all that showed up. What people like to do in GSF deathmatch is they run in there and they do a ton of damage and they see how many people they can kill. Well, if you kill 5 people and you die 5 times, you net it out to 0 in a 50v50 kills deathmatch. If I go in there and I kill one person and I die 0 times, I did better than you. Even if I do 1/10 of the damage, because we're trying to see who can die the least, who has more kills to deaths ratio. Because at the end of the time, it's the first team who kills 50 people. That means if your team dies 50 times before the other team, if you net out that you're not, that you're dying as many times or more times than you're killing, you lose. But people don't seem to get that. People think that if I do 1 million damage, even if I die, 5 times for every person I kill, if I did 1 million damage, then I'm really good. It's not how it works. So I didn't see deaths in PvP, which I thought was interesting. I don't know. I seemed fine to me. It seemed like it was working as expected. I was primaried though, and I didn't know why. I don't know if they flagged me as a healer or something, so that didn't feel too good. There were like people, we had people planting bombs on the doors in Voidstar, and there was like 2 or 3 people of the other team that were running all the way across the map to come and kill me. I'm not a healer.
You know what? They're probably listeners.
There was one AIE person on the other team.
Oh.
So I don't know if that person marked. I don't know who it was. I didn't recognize the character. I was playing this. So this was
They're
Wednesday
like,
night.
There's
the
Max.
one match I did.
There's an hour I'll never get back. Kill him.
I was fine with that. So yeah, it was Seema. She tagged me and she said, "Guys, you got to kill this guy."
I'm secretly a heavy duty PvPer.
Nah, I would not be surprised. You getting that aggression out.
No, it's still inside though. It's not working.
That's how you compress it into a, cold a nugget of
Yes, my heart
goodness.
is a little black nugget of charcoal.
Yep. I still did fine though. We lost though, but very close match. And I would prefer close matches with some losses than, big wipeouts every single time, especially if I'm losing on a big, a big wipe. It was close. It was close. Because we were on defense first, Void Star, they got all the way to the core, and we got all the way almost to the core. So we had the last force field down and just did not get through the last door quick enough. It's fine. Okay, so that's PvP. There's still a lot of angst on the forums, though. People are saying that they're seeing matches where there's like an 8-person pre-made team going in and riding roughshod on pickup groups and kind of like not taunting, but just like farming people for kills and like grabbing the hot ball and staying in the middle. And hey, that happens. And that's not, yeah, I mean, you can still have fun with that, and you can still dance around the edges and see if you can get your team to put marks on the healers, do things to help your team, even if it's a pickup group. Mark players. You can do that. If it's a really good team, an 8-person pre-made team that's in voice, you're not going to win in a random pickup group 9 times out of 10 or 99 times out of 100. But that's fine. You can maybe still have a little bit of fun. And if you can get 1 goal to their 6, then you can count that as a win. And hotball is fun regardless. So have fun with it. We'll see how it works out. A lot of people are still upset that ranked went away. I'm still interested to see, as we get into early next year, as things settle down, what it feels like for everyone once it's sort of the initial week is sort of gone, as things settle down after the holidays, if we get into a rhythm, as people are working on progression of the PvP path, as maybe a couple events, some player-made events happen. We'll see. Still sad that ranked is gone for all of those ranked players, that was their thing. We don't like that. We're just trying to be clear about that. But we'll see where things end up. And I'm optimistic that their PvP is still in this game. So we'll see. How about the UI stuff, Seema? Did you delete things? Do you just delete everything? Because you're so happy with the delete
I
feature?
actually haven't played with the delete feature yet, but I'm getting ready to. I have to pile up. I need a few more like military supply crates, which are specific, daily heroic planetary quests. So I haven't dived into that yet, the delete feature. I have seen it though, and it has crossed my mind. Gosh, I hope I don't delete something that I mean to deconstruct.
Right.
But I think I'll get used to it, because after all, it's that way in the mail, right? Like the little delete button is right next to the little get my attachment button, and I've managed to survive that.
I noticed that it is pretty good. So here I've got the window open. It's got the deconstruct side and the destroy side. If I clicked on things that can be deconstructed, if I just right click, they go in the deconstruct side. If I click on things that can't be deconstructed, they go in the destroy side.
Oh,
So
well, there you go.
it seems like it's doing some of that work for you.
So I tend to drag, so maybe I'll just try and retrain myself to just right click.
Yep.
That seems like the safe bet.
Yeah. And then just double check what went in each side or what's in there. My favorite thing to destroy is when I, like what I just did there, if I get a cosmetic set out of collections, I put it on my outfitter tab, I set up an outfit. Now I don't need these and I don't need them sitting around anymore. Now, click, 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 click. I can put them all on the destroy side and deconstruct, destroy, and now they're all wiped out and I don't have to drag them off each individually and get rid of them. So that worked really well. So I like, let's talk for, how long have we been going now, Seema? We've been going for an hour. So this is going to be a long one, apparently, because I think we've got about an hour and a half that we're going to spend just talking about the map.
This is going to be a long one.
Right now. Map. What do you think of that map?
I do like the map. I do like the map because I'm a really heavy duty map user, and having this like transparent map on the screen, especially I was doing it earlier today during coffee and contemplation. I went to Darvanas because I needed some mats from there, and it's so cool to have the map up. It is out of my way, like I can see where I'm going, um, but you can see so much more than you can see with just the old style mini map. But if you don't like that, the old style mini map is there and the old style regular map is there. I think it's like a perfect upgrade.
Yes. Yeah. So the full planetary map is there. It's now defaulted to Alt M to bring up the old style planet and world map. The mini map, if you hit M, switches back and forth between the holographic overlay full and the little round one. The little round one, if you want to go back to where it had all of the little bits around the outside of the mini map, you can even do that. So I hear
Oh.
people, complaining. People complain. They love to complain. I heard people in like general chat complaining. This is terrible. How do they change the map? They break everything always. No, you can have all of it back exactly how it was if you want. So map style minimal versus map style maximal. If you switch back to map style maximal and keep your little mini map down there, let's say save, go back. Then it's like the full old mini map right there. There you go. With the clock and all the little things around the outside and all that junk all there. And you could even like hide this little bar. You could go back to exactly how it was before. If you hate change and you like things to be ugly and old, then and you understand that consistency is a hobgoblin of mediocre minds.
Oh my God, Max.
And don't mind that you fall into that category, then feel free to do that.
Or if you just have a different
preference.
preference than
Which is
Max
fine.
does, which is fine.
The other thing
You're not necessarily a hobgoblin just because you disagree with Max.
No, you have a mediocre mind. The hobgoblin is the consistency, is the hobgoblin. That's the demon.
Yes,
You're not
I get it.
mediocre.
But the point is, if you like
You are
consistency, then
mediocre.
you're less than.
Yeah, you are, as Seema says.
I like consistency. I'm resistant to change.
But I love this overlay map. I had
I
it
do
up the
too.
whole time I was doing the story because you're running like through these tunnels and stuff and trying to figure
Yeah.
out where to go. And now I'm like, I can totally see. Definitely move it around if you want. That's the first thing I did. Again, interface editor, you can grab the world overlay map. It was sort of like a little bit more like in the center of the screen, and I didn't like that as much. I think I'd like it up a little bit higher and then over to the right a little bit more. So I liked it off to the side a little bit more than it was. I able to put it exactly where I wanted, how I wanted, and then the whole time I was in all of these new areas, running through these tunnels. I've got it up on my screen. I can see exactly where I'm going. I never get lost.
My favorite
Feels good.
tunnel on Andron, where I like to go and forage for archaeology mats. This new map is perfect for that because I can see the whole thing.
Right. It's great.
I don't have to keep tapping M as I'm running through it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's great. And then if you need the planetary version of the map, that's Alt M. And then if you remember, you still have Shift M to get to the galaxy map. We've got maps all over the place.
Right, but yes, you can use Alt M to get to the old style major map. But
Yes.
there's also it also can be put on that bar down there, and the default is it is on the bar.
Yes, right down here on the new
The
lower
globe.
lower
Yeah.
bar. And
Yeah.
also remember, if you go into the interface editor, you go interface editor and you click on the utility bar 1 or utility bar 2, both of them are available to you, and then scroll down under utility bar, you can change every single slot. So there's 18 slots on utility bar 1 and utility bar 2 has 11 slots. So that is 29 slots. You can change every single slot to a clock. So you can have 29 clocks on your screen. So all the people that were saying, I hate this, that I don't have the clock available to me anymore. You can have 29 clocks. 29. There you go. Oh, plus the one on the minimap, 30. That rounds it out to the old, if you go to maximal style minimap, 30. You can have 30 clocks on your screen. 30. There you go. The bottom bar could use more slots. We'll take the top bar and make it that, make utility bar 1, drag it down to the bottom. Although it'll be slanted the wrong way, but you could use that one down there instead. You could put both of them down below. It doesn't really, it would be, I guess it would help if it wasn't like slanted so it looks like it should be on the top.
You can put the signal on that utility bar too if you want.
It's great. It's very flexible. You can have whatever you want sort of set up. Oh, and you can revert the top bar to the old style as well. Man. Is it David Stats? Who's the UI lead? I think it might be David. They did a great job with a lot of this in just enabling people to have things how they wanted and bring as we saw the minimap, put it back exactly the way you want. You know, the new way is there for a reason, and I bet if you gave it a chance, you would like it. But if you want the old way back, you can have that too. They put a lot of thought into the accessibility features. We've got the colorblind, I think 3 different colorblind modes that you have available to you now. We've got the ability to color the text in different ways in different places. There's just so much available to us now that they've done a lot of work in the user interface, and they're continuing to do that, and I appreciate it. Any other fun things out of the patch notes? I saw a couple things that we didn't realize as we were just looking on the vendors, for example, the things that you can now convert tech frags to commendations and commendations to tech frags and conquest commendations to FP1 catalysts. Wow. Didn't realize that. Thought that was interesting. They changed the conquest commendations to tech frags instead of being bags of 50 to bags of 200. That ratio
that'll
makes a lot
help.
more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like having to click by 20
Much
times,
clicking.
right? So that is great. They gave us, the couple things that popped up in the cartel market. I actually thought that was kind of cool. The Pike Syndicate armor, I think looks good. But almost more impressive, I didn't realize this until we started seeing people post it after things went live on Tuesday. Rickon's armor set. So Rickon, we learned last update in 7.1 that Rickon is part of Hedda Cole's organization right now, which means ostensibly he's a Mandalorian, right? He's got Mandalorian armor, but he's a Twi'lek. He's got Mandalorian armor that covers his Leku, his head tails. And if you buy this armor set, Rickon's armor set, you get the helmet with the head tails attached to it. So you might not have head tails going in there. And we speculated that maybe you could use them to like store drinks or something. But here it's a little small on the screen, I'm sure here, but you can see like I can give my Mandalorian this armor head piece and get the Leku hanging down the back. Oh, that looks pretty good. Even with the Leku. So
I think
there
it's
you
a
go.
pretty good compromise. Like if they decided that there was no way to make helms compatible with Leku, they just made a helm with the Leku.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. I thought that was a cool solution. I thought it came out well.
I think it just looks really nice with that helm, and yeah, I like it.
Maybe I'll change my...
Yeah, a predator feel, Machete says.
It does. That's a good call. It does give it a little bit of that predator dreads hanging down the back kind of look to it. Cool. Shall we take, just to wrap it up, shall we take a little look at the Life Day vendor?
That's a good idea.
Did you decide that you are not going to hug Wookiees this year? Is that, or you were going to do it?
I'm gonna do 10 hookies.
10
hookies.
You're gonna
Yeah.
wug a hookie?
I'm gonna yes, and eat a cookie.
Oh, that sounds delicious. We did get a couple new things, more than I thought.
It is the season of cookies.
So they only called out in the patch notes, even they only called out the hat and the snow globes. Were the weapons from last year? Did I just miss them last year, or are the weapons new also? I thought the weapons were new.
I don't
I'm
know.
pretty sure the weapons were new, and so that means we got the hat, the gala hat, 3 new snow globes, I believe, and then the weapons. Because nothing says Happy Life Day than a nice blaster rifle.
I wonder if you can embrace this Wookiee deco.
Good question. I don't know. I have a couple. I have one, and the guild owns one. I guess we could try to line it up.
I own one now. I just bought it.
I have very many snow-covered parcels. We were speculating. Oh, this is what I wanted to look at. So, family of the first seed sniper rifle. Does this look like a Red Ryder BB gun? If it does, that would be a complete score. Not totally. Little bit. Not really.
Sorry, Seb, it says you can hug the embracing Wookiee, but it doesn't count towards the achievement.
No, it's got like a bayonet on it and stuff. It does not look like a. And the blaster rifle. Blaster rifle looks even a little closer to the Red Ryder BB gun, but not. It's kind of got. They're nice though. They're nice and simple. They're like wood weapon, wood barrel, wood stock rifles. And this is where we thought that the dual saber and the lightsaber were bugged at the moment. No blade coming out of that even. Yeah, they look both bugged in the preview as well. But as I said, unless it's got a blade effect, I'm never all that interested in hilts because it's just, I mean, little tiny bit of different detail here on the crossguard. Not very much though. You don't really see much because your hands cover up 80% of the whole model, unfortunately, with those. So we've got Life Day. The other thing that spread around the fleets, I think these lights are new though too. The lights and the wreaths. So the white
Yes.
lights and the colored
Yes.
lights on the 2 different fleets. So the Republic side has the colored paper lantern style lights, and the Imperial fleet has the straight strands of the yellowish lights. Those are available as decos. It's the same deco though, I believe. I don't know what changes it. When I hung it up in my Imperial apartment, it was the yellow Imperial style lights. So that's something fun to play with. I like the wreaths. I like the hollow trees. Good stuff. 11-year anniversary vendor is back and available. You get the 11-year anniversary fireworks. Don't forget those. And the Coruscant and Dromankos apartments are back on sale for, I bet, I haven't double checked, but I bet it's 11 credits each. Get them while they're hot because it's going to go up another credit next year.
Yeah, that's right.
You do not
the
want
main
to
thing
miss
is-
out on that savings.
Do not forget double XP starting next Tuesday, the 20th, because it is short, 1 week.
Yes.
Don't miss it if you have plans for it.
Yep. Quick 1 week hit of the double XP. Otherwise, join a guild, get some XP bonus out of your guild, aie-guild.org. We've got all the XP bonus you could wish for, and we will help you with that as well. And then there's the fireworks decoration that you get off of the vendor as well. Finally, I think people were asking Jackie in the forums if we were going to hear anything about this. The Best View contest did wrap up. The results of that got posted, which means you should be able to buy these as paintings to put on your walls and your strongholds as well. So our winners were Melissa on Starforge for Alderaan, 12th Doctor on Starforge for Coruscant, Rafalig Rafalagoys on Starforge for Droman Kaz. Berandon on Darth Malgus for Hoth. Drew Braxton on Starforge for Iokath. Plateau on Darth Malgus for Manon. Starroine on Starforge for Odessin. 7-time Avenger on Starforge for Quesh. Zg on Starforge, ZZZG on Starforge for Rishi. Shaori on Starforge for Terrace. So each of those people get a special version with a gold frame that they get to put in their stronghold, which is kind of cool. So congrats to all those people. That's pretty awesome.
The competition was stiff.
Yeah, a lot of really good ones. And we saw a bunch of good ones from a bunch of people in the community, a bunch of people in our guild. It's a tough thing.
I'm glad I didn't have to pick.
So any final thoughts here, Seema? This is good, solid. I'm happy. How about you?
I need to sort of dig into the dailies. That's
Yeah.
my next area of pursuit, I think.
That'll
So I could-
really nail down the replayability of
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Rahanuk and how much I'll be spending time there in the future.
The world is really highly rendered, and
Yes.
I'm hoping to find that it's also easy to get around. It's got a lot of like cliff faces and stuff, so there might be some, going to the right because you need before you can go to the left type of travel.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Right.
We'll see.
As with any place, once you start to get used to it, I think
Yeah.
it'll be fine. But
Yeah.
it's not. I thought of that. It's not it's not a big wide open map where you can like have line of sight to all of your destinations by any means. But as such, you get all these kind of cool canyons and side tunnels and river runs through it and cliffs and overlooks and mining pits and things like that that are kind of cool. So it had to be interesting to design from that perspective. My summary thoughts as well. Seems meaty enough that I'm gonna have plenty to sink my teeth into for a little while now, and I'm happy that we've got this. I'm glad that we've got like the 36 gear upgrade path, and now I'm gonna outfit all of my characters, but also still want to potentially go further. The one downside that I didn't mention on the gear, which does grind my gears just a little bit, is that R4 story mode does not go above 330. I don't know why, and I think that's a miss. That should go up to 336 as well. I don't know why they did that. So now
I thought that was the plan, actually.
Right. So did I. And that's weird that now R4 story mode gets you
Nothing.
Nothing that you would use for vet mode, because
Right.
nobody's going to use 330 gear to
If
do
we
vet
want
mode
to,
R4 anymore.
yeah, if we want to upgrade our gear from R4, the best thing for us to do is the old grades.
Is to not do R4, right?
Yeah.
Which is non-optimal. And then the one other thing that's I think is a little bit of a miss is we heard nothing from this guy right here, Malgus. I was a little sad about that. I was hoping. I mean, he was again no spoiler. I guess that's a little bit of a spoiler. Sorry.
Stop patting his head. You're gonna make his head disappear over time.
Yes, it'll get all shiny.
It'll erode.
Like when you go up to a bronze statue that's all oxidized and you rub Abraham Lincoln's nose and it gets all shiny while the rest of it is oxidized. That's how that happens. So we did not get a Malgus story this time around. This was Showdown on Runuk, Rahnok. Showdown on that planet.
Yeah.
And which is what it was designed to be. Still go on the fleet. Malgus is still sitting in his little prison. I would like that to progress as well.
I'm pretty sure it will.
All right. I think we can wrap up. We'll probably be off. We'll probably take next week off as our sort of like little holiday off week. But the week after that, we're going to do our end of year wrap up, we have a forum question in
Yeah.
our Discord, newoverlords.com/Discord, where Seema has asked the question, what was your favorite things of the year? If we're looking back across the whole year, if we're doing an end of year wrap up, what is your stuff that you think you want to do a shout out to for 2022? We'd love to have your things in there. We'll try to read those out as part of our summary of 2022 as
Yeah.
well.
Yes. So we'll try and we will succeed, I'm pretty sure.
Do or do not. There is no try. That will come that week between Christmas and New Year's. And then first week of 2023, we always do our prediction show. And Seema predicted when 7.2 is going to release. She will have a prediction for 7.3 on the first week in January. Maybe that'll be in her predictions.
Here's my Snowfall and Gizka pet.
Are you here? Where are you?
Oh, I'm by the Life Day vendor. I forgot that you took off. But yeah.
I'm out of here, man. See ya, suckers. I don't know where I went. I was going somewhere to look at something. Anyways, that'll be coming up. And then as we get into January, it'll be fun we'll probably do an episode maybe on the World Boss, on the dailies, on the secret achievements. I don't know. Maybe we bring Cal back and talk about the secret achievements or something on one of those shows. Catch up, maybe get some, maybe get Kogus on to talk about how PvP is working out by the end of January. See where those things are at. We'd love to have you join us. You can catch us in all the places. I think our EPC 450 droid, 450 episodes that we've done of this so far have been really fun. If you want to stay connected, subscribe on YouTube, get in our Discord, subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, all those kinds of things. That all works as well. You can stay connected as well by following me on Twitter at Max the Gray and at The New Overlords. We're going to be doing more with the New Overlords handle itself in a few different ways. We're also on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're we're a bunch of places. All these right now, especially with our Behind the Games podcast as well. Industry interviews with studios large and small, indie, including BioWare. Really fun stuff there. We will keep you up to date in all of those places. For AIE Guild information on Starforge, if you want to come play with us, we would love to have you. If you want to play in Star Wars and any of the games that we play, you can check out our guild at aie-guild.org. The most important thing at aie-guild.org is the Discord link in the upper right. Jump in our guild Discord. We've got a channel in there for Star Wars, the Old Republic, both the Republic and the Imperial sides. We've got guilds to cover you with all of the fun stuff going on all week, bunch of ops teams, and our mandatory fun night on Tuesday nights. Come join. With that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.